Okay, what I'm making here is a little spacer, and I think this one's probably made out of, I don't know, it looks like it's made out of stainless steel, but this goes on the side of the hood cover that covers the dash on the dozer. Missing the one on one side, and I thought, well, while I'm got a little bit of time in the shop, I'm gonna take a piece of aluminum. This piece of aluminum is one that I poured out of a piece of, I just melted down some aluminum. So it's pretty rough back here, but I'm just going to use enough to make this step washer. You're going to learn the wrong way to do this from my channel. So we're needing about 1 inch on the OD, and I'm at just a little over 1.125", or yeah, somewhere around 1.125" right now. So got to turn it down a little bit. Just going to spin it. That looks more like 1 inch. We're just a shade over, which is just about exactly what this one is. So we got the diameter of the outside. Now we need to, I'm gonna probably just turn this tool around. I don't have the best tooling. I need to get some more cutters, and I know they're not real expensive, and I need to just break down and buy some, but this one here will probably cut a little cleaner on that step. This old lathe, I don't have all the proper tooling for it, you know, it's just kind of odds and ends I've gathered up. And I learned a long time ago that I don't like carbide cutters because of the, it seems like my lathe has a little slack in it, and whenever it gets a hold of something, it likes to dig in a little too deep, and the carbide cutters can't handle it. Tool steel is a little more forgiving for me. For a guy that don't know what he's doing, this is better. But now we're going to cut, and this offset, I'm just going to gauge it. It's about 1/2 of that thickness of that tooth there, so, or that cutter. So we'll just make a plunge. I know I'm probably doing this wrong, but it's alright. It's just a little work for a dozer. Seems like I'm drifting. Inner dimension's a little more critical. We need to have it just about the right size, which I think I might have went just a bit under, but 585 is what we're measuring, and yeah, I'm a little bit small, so I've already cut just a little bit too much. But I do need to go a little bit deeper so we can. See how that matches up. Just a hair more. Okay, I like it. It's just about perfect now. Now what I'm probably going to do next is just saw this with a bandsaw, and then I'll bring it back to the lathe and face it to get it flat. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and drill. Let me knock it. Let's see. Go ahead and knock this end off here a little bit. Should be good there. I'll go ahead and drill it for center before I take it out. Man, I'll tell you what, we got a lot of wind today. Okay, now see how centered this thing is. Just gets a 1/4 inch hole in it, so, and now I'll just go ahead and take it. We'll have a little waste there, but that's fine. I'll just take it and saw that off the bandsaw right quick. Yeah, that cutter there would probably do it if I can get it at the right angle here. Thicker than the other one, but it's not critical because basically the only critical part is the shoulder. The rest of it, you know, it's just a little longer. So that would be I'll just finish drilling this out with a 1/4 inch bit now, and actually that's a little bigger than that, so we'll do that with the drill press. Okay, so I was going to show you where these go. These actually, this is the dash panel that slides up and down or rotates the vandal proof guard, but basically these little, it's just like a shoulder washer, and it holds the dash in place. Whenever it opens and closes, that's just a little pivot. So it was missing the one on this side here, so I decided to go ahead and make one. But anyway, it's just a piece of, I just used a piece of aluminum. Not the highest grade aluminum. This is something I cast myself years ago, and I made a shift knob for my Kenworth. But anyway, that's what I was making there. What I've been working on, I got a new light switch in the, I need a bulb in this deal here. I need to do some wiring at front. There's a wire loose. But I put in an hour meter, kind of straightened up, cleaned up the wiring, and there was some busted wires. The amp meter wasn't working. And I believe it is now. It moves over at least when you turn on the lights. So hour meter works, got a new one in it. That's always good to have. on a machine, keep track of it. Anyway, just did a valve adjustment. Just kind of general going over things, seeing what things I can easily fix and take care of, and cause, you know, not to try to keep downtime to a minimum, basically. But anyway, I'm gonna put the dash back together here and get the hood back on it, and there's a few other things I worked on this weekend on it, but hoping to get wrapped up with it so it'll be ready to go to a job here pretty soon. Another issue I got with the dozer is it's been leaking out of this fuel valve, but I'm gonna try to pull that valve off there and see if I can't repack it. This is actually your drain. You can drain the water out of the bottom of your tank with this one right here. And it looks like it had just a very little bit in it. But it's a good idea to crack these loose once in a while. And make sure you don't have any water in your fuel tank, especially in the wintertime. But this has like a compression fitting on the front and a 3/8 pipe thread here on the bottom. And what I'm gonna try to do is do this without draining the tank. I hope it'll come out of there. I don't even know if there's room to do that. I may have to pull the tank loose and jack it up to be able to get to it. But I like to be able to shut the diesel off to it because I got a small leak on the injector pump, and if you turn the fuel tank off, it takes the pressure off of it and it quits leaking. So, but it's a gravity fed fuel system, the way it's built, so it's just a good habit, I think, on, I don't know, and it's also okay. We got that loose. Now what I'm going to try to do is put my vacuum cleaner on top of the tank. The tank's not full, but it's probably half. I'm going to see if that'll hold enough vacuum to where I can pull this off without losing all my fuel, and then I'm going to put a cap on there. We'll see what happens. Not much room to get a wrench on it. Look at that. It worked. How about that? I may need to change the filter on my shop vac now, but I got the valve off there without losing any fuel. So I'm gonna take this apart and see if I can't figure out what's wrong with it. Now, about the way I'm doing this with a vacuum, you would never want to try this with gasoline unless you want to die. Diesel does not have a very high flame point, so you can get away with a little bit more. But if you start pulling vacuum through a gas tank like this, you're most likely going to explode. Wouldn't want to try that at all. So get ready to pull this off here. And this is probably not real safe with using diesel, but like I say, it's a short amount of time, and I'll clean the filter on my okay. I'm gonna turn the vacuum on. long enough to get the valve turned on or put on there, and then we'll turn that off. And I learned that from a mechanic, that he would do that if he was changing a filter on the bottom of a tractor and he didn't want to change the if he didn't want to drain all the hydraulic oil out of the tractor, he would put a shop vac on there, and then kept the oil from all running out of the bottom of the machine when you're changing oil or the filter. So I always learn tricks from people. There's always better ideas and better ways of doing things. So that's back on there. So far it looks like it's holding. And the problem I was having with it is when I would open it, it would actually leak. So let's see what happens now. I think we might be good to go. It looks dry so far. Well, it'll be good. The back of this dozer's always got diesel on it because of this. So, good to have that fixed. But my valve's fixed anyway, so no leaks out of that. One last thing I got to worry about on it. You know, there's just been nitpicking things, nothing major, but just like this diesel running down the back, it looks bad. And it's got some leaks on the steering valve and a couple other places up under the seat and floorboard. I plan on trying to get a kit to replace the steering valve seals. I've called Dresser and they said they're available, but they haven't sent them yet, so I don't know what's up with that. So hopefully soon they'll send me some seal kits and I can get that fixed. That'll stop a leak. Anyway, anytime you got oil coming out, you got dirt going in. That's a fact. It's not just, you know, maybe. If you got an oil leak, you're going to be getting dirt in your system somehow. So it's just good to keep them down to a minimum.